Hey guys, my name is Ross Champion, and I'm here with Zack Bright.
How's everybody doing?
We're going to talk to you about the lightweight. We're going to go through the boats a little bit, show you some of the features, and show you how much we love them. So Zack and I are going to take you through some of the differences with the lightweight hull versus an OEM Superjet hull. And where we're going to start is on the bottom of the boat. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the bottom shape of the hull, as demonstrated by our spokesmodel, Zack Bright. As you can see, the bottom of the hull has a tubby incorporated into it, and actually the hull from about here on till we get to the back of the boat is taken almost identically from a 2008 plus Superjet. And because of that, the boat seats well in corners, it turns well. Overall, it's a whole lot shorter, but the profile, the outside shape of it is more or less 2008 Superjet. Zack, would you like to add anything to that?
You know, there's a lot of aftermarket hulls out right now, but I'd say the biggest example of a ski would be either a Richter or a Lindsay, in my opinion. With the Richter, you have more of a blunt nose, where the lightweight is not so much rocker, but more of a curve. And what I feel it does is, instead of just running into the water on the wave, it kind of directs the water to go through the boat to get you more pop instead of just shoving the nose into the lip. And it really makes a huge difference. To me personally, it feels like it flips as fast as some other holes, but it's a lot longer than a lot of the holes that are on the market for flat water setup. Obviously, me and Ross, we're surf riders by heart, but a lot of skis have evolved over time from coming from the lake. And you know, we got, in my opinion, a really mathematically found out nose of how to generate the most power. And another big difference here is this whole intake track, when the water comes from the nose and moves towards the back of the boat, we have adjustability here.
So, starting to the very front of the boat, the nose of this boat, as you can see, is there's not a whole lot of bond line there. The nose of the boat is shaped, I would say, what do you think? We have a little more rocker than a stock Superjet in this?
For sure, absolutely.
We got a little more rocker, and actually the nose is significantly shorter than a Superjet as well. So the overall length of the boat is adjustable, and we'll talk about that when we get to the rear end. But having a nice short nose makes for a boat that you can flip really easy. You have your handle pole mounted really far forward, so you get a lot of leverage over the nose of the boat. And as Zack alluded to, we have a bottom plate, is what they call it, but essentially what it is it gives you the ability to change the shape of the bottom of the hull right in front of the intake cavity. And this plate that we're running right now is flat. We have another one that I'm going to put on for tomorrow that's curved a little more.
Convex.
And it's convex. That's a word you're going to have to look up. I'll look it up later. Well, I'll look it up later. I'll see if I can figure out what that means. But I do know the plate over there has a big old curve in it. It loads the water a little harder into the pump, makes the boat sit a little bit lower in the water. And we're going to give it a shot. You know, this hull that we're looking at right now is actually one of the really early versions, and Zack is the newer model, if you will, which has a little bit bigger pump intake area. So we're going to throw the other plate on there and see if we get closer to the handling of Zack's boat.
So another thing I want to talk to you guys about, I kind of brushed on how, you know, flat water freestyle, a lot of modifications on the hulls and stuff has came into play with the flat water, but Ross and ourselves, we don't know how to ride flat water. We ride out here in the surf. But luckily, you know, flat water has given us some little bit of evolution of the jet ski. A big thing that is different on the lightweight is, even though we have a wider bottom than a top deck, we still have this splash guard, a bond rail set up, kind of like a Superjet basically. But on flat water and a lot of aftermarket holes, they cut this whole front nose off. And what that does is, when you're doing a flat water backflip, when you're coming in super nose steep, they think that the nose, this bond rail will catch you and not let you complete your rotation of a backflip. Obviously, for me and Ross, we don't really have that problem. And a problem that presents itself with the bond rail cut is you get a lot of splash in your face. And for me and Ross, we're surfing waves, and if you drop down, you get splash in your face from not having a bond rail. And that's a key thing for me is Norbert incorporated this bond rail, which you gotta be able to see what you're doing. You can't have water blasting all over your face, and because you have big waves, you have small waves, whatever conditions it is, it's critical what you do and when you do it, and you need to at least be able to see when you're going up the face of that wave.
So now we're going to come to one of the coolest features of this boat, which is, I guess for lack of a better word, the ride plate. Now typically the ride plate on your boat is narrow, just covers more or less the pump area, goes from the back of the intake cavity or from the back part of the intake cavity back.
Yeah.
On these boats, the whole rear end of the boat is the ride plate, and there's a ton of options as far as what you can do with the rear end of the boat. You can run a really short piece that goes flush with the rear of the ski, or you can go all the way back to stock length. Now, it just so happens that Zach and I are running the exact same setup on the rear end of the boat, which is a D cut that I believe, 2 inches shorter than stock?
Yeah, we're slightly shorter for sure. Maybe on some of these bigger waves, maybe a little more, but that's the thing is that with this ski, you have that option to ride in the waves and say, I could use a little bit more length here.
Yeah. Or you can test with the shape. You can experiment with different bottom configurations, see what you like. Maybe if you're going to the lake, you want to run some buoys, you throw a stock length plate on there, or you throw an extended ride plate on there. It's super simple. It's 6 bolts. The ride plate comes on and off, and you change the whole handling characteristics of the boat, really.
Completely.
All right. You know what I want to do right now? Boop. He's really high right now. One of the most important things to talk about is the tray.
Yeah.
And with this tray, super easy to pull on and off. There's 4 bolts. Exactly. And you have a lot of different options as to how you'd like to set the tray up. For me, I always wanted to try a flat deck. Done a lot of no-footed flip tricks that come back and I wind up landing on a gunnel, and you know what? It's not fun. I don't like that. But with the lightweight, we have the ability to run a full flat deck tray, or we can run a setup similar to what you have. Actually, this is a strange setup, and I think it fits you, but it's very strange. So this is one style of foothold, which is a piece that bolts onto the hull, and you have another adjustable top part of the foothold there. Norbert also has the ability to make traditional gunnels on the side, so it looks just like a regular setup with a full side and a foothold and everything, just like a stock boat. Or you can do something like Zack has done, where you have a whole combination of things going on. So there's no foothold on this side, there's a strap here, there's a strap there. I mean, really, I don't know what you got going on over here, but does it work for you?
Yeah, for me it works. I'd like to evolve into Ross's setup. Obviously, it's the safest setup you can get on a jet ski, and like you touched on before, you can bolt a standard style superjet gunnel on it and be back to what you're used to. But fact of the matter is, with what we're doing, having less tray is more for me. I'm running only one foothold. When I backflip now, I only use one foot to kick in. The other foot's dancing around, doing some shuffling and stuff.
Like
anywhere you can go. I want to evolve more to Ross's, where I just have the straps and take the footholds off. But it's cool that I can change my entire setup. Like I'm dealing with right now, I hurt my right ankle. If I wanted to, I could switch this completely and have a left foothold and no right one, and do something to the right and not have to worry if I didn't rotate something completely to hit whatever's on the inside of the tray. And I think for you and me, landing on something on the side of a jet ski, it hurts real bad. So less is more to me.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? If you want to take my setup and put it on your boat, on your boat, 4 bolts on this one, 4 bolts on that one, boom, done.
Ross, you've traveled the world. You've gotten super jets built for you, and you know as much as I do, there's not one super jet with the same modifications that rides the same.
Exactly.
Every single jet ski is a bit different. Norbert, I think, has everything calculated down to the nearest decimal of the similarities between these boats.
Yeah.
One thing that's cool for us, you know, we travel the world. All Ross and myself has to do is unbolt these 4 bolts and take this tray itself.
Yeah.
And take it to another country. So you don't have to actually ship a whole nother jet ski, which, you know, we're in a recession here. It costs a lot of money.
It
You know,
does.
things are expensive.
Well, and we can also, like, if we're running a different bottom plate, we can bring that. So
Yeah.
you take your handlebar, your steering setup you're comfortable with, you take your tray, you take the bottom of the boat, and you have your boat wherever you go.
Exactly.
So
That's big.